Chapter 66. The other two viewers were in a similar situation. Although they were embarrassed to post on the bullet screen, they still had to show basic gratitude after receiving such a huge benefit. As soon as Su Yiyen saw their rewards, she roughly knew what was going on. She had received their faith points yesterday, which meant that they should have all drunk her soup and had a deep understanding of the effects of those soups. After thanking them one by one, she told the audience in the live broadcast room about today's arrangements. There's good news and bad news. Which one do you want to hear first? This fatal opening caused the bullet screen in the live broadcast room to freeze for a few seconds. After that, someone asked with concern, "What's the bad news? Did the streamer encounter any difficulties?" Su Yiyen was stunned for a moment. She didn't expect such a reaction from the audience. Her eyebrows curved slightly, but she couldn't help but laugh. The bad news is that my husband is coming over today. I have to prepare food for him now, so I can't give any of the dishes in the live broadcast room to you today. I'm sorry. This result was beyond many people's expectations, but most of them expressed their understanding. The dishes were originally made by the streamer, so she naturally had the right to decide whether to give them away or not and who to give them to. Instead, they were more concerned about, my husband. Does it mean what I think it means? Why am I so caught off guard by such a large amount of dog food when I'm watching a gourmet live broadcast early in the morning? A dog's life is difficult. The streamer personally washed her hands and made soup for him. Forgive me for turning into a lemon essence on the spot. Hey, didn't anyone realize that the streamer said she was coming over? Since they're a couple, she shouldn't have said anything about coming back. Are they living separately or on a business trip? Su Yiyen saw this comment at a glance and explained with a faint smile, "We're having our wedding next month, so we're not living together yet." Everyone suddenly understood. So they're just engaged. Does this mean that I still have a chance? Yes, yes, yes. Marriage is not a trifling matter. Is the streamer really not going to consider me? I'm actually also, audience A and B were just joking. In fact, they didn't have the idea of interfering in someone else's marriage. As a result, after posting a comment, when they were about to post another one, they found that they were banned. Audience A and B. For the first time, Wu Chenwan exercised his authority as a moderator by deleting all the comments that were trying to poach his girlfriend. He also muted them for an hour as punishment. Only comments were left discussing their wedding, asking if Su Yiyen could broadcast the wedding live, or giving out some small benefits on the wedding day, like making a few more medicinal cuisines for the lucky draw. Su Yiyen, on the other hand, didn't notice it at all. He said very nicely, "I might be very busy on the day of the wedding so I can't broadcast it live. However, I will compensate you later by giving you some other things." Good news. The good news is that there will be more dishes to cook today, and the live stream will be longer. As soon as Su Yiyen's words came out, the bullet screen was filled with wailing. How is this good news? Is there anything more torturous than being able to look but not eat? There were too many complaints on the screen. In the end, Su Yiyen could only helplessly say, "All right, as compensation, I will activate the taste tasting system today. Although I can't eat the real thing, I can at least try it. Is that okay?" Chapter 67. Alright, let's not talk about these digressions. Let's get to the point. Our first dish today is spicy boiled fish. The main ingredients used are 3 to 4 caddies of grass carp, ginger, garlic, and chili. You can add the rest of the vegetables according to your tastes. Su Yiyen specially reminded them, because the smell of chili is quite strong, some people may feel a little choked when smelling it for the first time. You can choose whether to turn off the smell simulation system or not. As Su Yiyen spoke, he cut off the head and tail of the 3 to 4 caddies of grass carp, then sliced the meat of the fish into slices. The knife skill that he had activated earlier finally came into play at this moment. He sliced the meat of the fish into small slices of moderate thickness and marinated them with cooking wine for a while. After frying the fish fillet and tail, it was time to fry the chili. The moment the chili was put into the pot, the live stream room was suddenly filled with a choking smell. Even though Su Yiyan had warned them beforehand, many people were still choked by the smell. Some people who were not used to the smell couldn't help but sneeze. Oh my God, what is this thing? Why is it so choking? It's making me sneeze non-stop. Sneezing +1. I wasn't used to it at first, but after getting used to it, it seems to be quite fragrant. Am I bad? Is it choking? I think it's okay. It's really fragrant. I'm kind of looking forward to the final product. It would be great if I could draw a prize. When Su Yiyan was frying the chili, he took time to glance at the screen and found that although most people choked, they were not repulsed by the smell of chili. In this era where everyone ate nutrient solutions, although most nutrient solutions had different flavors, most of them were relatively mild and light. There were very few nutrient solutions with a particularly strong flavor. Most of them were regional dark cuisine. Apart from some people who were more curious, very few people were willing to touch them. This was the main reason why Wen Jingping was able to become popular in the gourmet live stream rooms so quickly. According to the original novel, she had a family cookbook. In this era, people who had recipes would either open their own high-end restaurants or work as private chefs for rich people. Just like Su Yiyan's Aunt Li, she was able to enter the Su family because she inherited some skills. There were not many people like Wen Jingping who directly broadcast on the internet. Because of this, Wen Jingping could quickly become popular in a short period of time and become the most popular sister in the gourmet area. However, that might not be the case after today. After stir-frying the chili, scallion, ginger, garlic, and other condiments, he added in the fish head, fish tail, and various other seasonings. After stir-frying, he added water, some soybean sprouts that had been blanched earlier, some vegetables that Su Yiyan liked, and sliced fish fillets. Then, he covered the pot and boiled it for a period of time. Taking advantage of this time, Su Yiyan hurriedly stewed the soup. Today, we'll be stewing cinnamon pork stomach soup. Other than pork stomach and lean meat, we'll also need ginger, barley, and cinnamon. I'm sure everyone is familiar with the rest. Let me introduce Job's barley and cinnamon to everyone. Chapter 68. As soon as Su Yiyan's words came out, the pop-up screen became lively again. A large number of people were asking what the cinnamon looked like and where they could buy it. There were even old viewers who had been following Su Yiyan since the first day. They complained that the wolfberries, red dates, and other things that had appeared in Su Yiyan's live broadcast room before could not be found in the market, let alone buy them and make them themselves. Seeing that many people were asking this question, the keyboard warriors hidden among the ordinary viewers also began to move. It can't be found in the market. Could it be that they are fooling people? That's right. They don't know what kind of Chinese herbal medicine it is. Can medicine be eaten casually? They don't even have a test report to confirm the ingredients. If something goes wrong, will the host be responsible? Similar words began to flood the screen in the live broadcast room. Even if there were other viewers who did not like these people's sarcasm and spoke up for Su Yiyan, they would immediately be attacked by a large group of people and turned into a water army. In such a situation, some people who were blamed for no reason were angry, and some people who were just watching for fun began to waver. They felt that what these people said was not unreasonable. Just as a few lucky viewers who had been drawn before and were watching the live broadcast wanted to stand up for Su Yiyan, all the comments questioning whether there was a problem with the Chinese herbal medicine were suddenly cleared. Several accounts that stirred up trouble in the live broadcast room were also directly banned. A line of words floated across the top of the live broadcast room in an extremely eye-catching and arrogant manner. Those who take the lead in questioning the host in the live broadcast room will be banned. After being banned, all accounts with the same identity and the same IP will never be able to participate in the live broadcast room's lucky draw. As soon as this sentence floated out, many people were surprised again. Ha! Did I see it wrong? Our live broadcast room has a moderator? Upstairs, you didn't see it wrong. That glittering golden font special effect. Damn, the moderator is the daddy of the leaderboard. No wonder those problematic comments just now are all gone. The great leader of the leaderboard is mighty. I'm so annoyed by these keyboard warriors who are questioning this and that everywhere. They are wearing the skin of a moralist and doing dirty things. Su Yiyen had just finished blanching the pig's stomach and put it into the stew pot with lean meat, ginger, barley, and cinnamon to stew. When he looked up, he saw the screen full of comments about the moderator of the live broadcast room. He could not help but be stunned. What moderator? What happened in the live stream just now? Nothing. Everyone is just discussing where to buy these Chinese medicinal herbs that the streamer mentioned. In addition, we are also wondering why there is suddenly a moderator in our live broadcast room. The viewers who stayed behind weren't stupid. Fong Guanqing's comments were banned because he didn't want the streamer to feel bad after seeing those comments. If they brought up the past now, they would be too inconsiderate. Su Yiyen had already thought of a solution to the purchase problem before the live broadcast, but it was still too early to completely solve this problem. The problem with the materials is a bit troublesome. We need to wait for a while to solve it. There will be a day when we can buy it. This sounded like an empty promise, but for those who were troubled by various difficult and complicated diseases, it was a life-saving straw. After Su Yiyen gave an affirmative answer, the audience quickly changed the topic and asked a question that they were very concerned about. Chapter 69. Su Yiyen was a bit confused by the series of questions, but her main focus was still on the second question. Why did she choose him to be the admin? Do you even need to ask? Of course it's because he's my man. But if she were to say this out loud, not only the audience in the stream, but also someone on the other side of the screen would probably explode. Just as Su Yiyen was distressed about how to respond, the new admin suddenly turned on the reward mode. Congratulations to the host, Yen Yen, for receiving 10 luxurious bungalows from a loyal viewer, Mountain Yusu. Congratulations to the host, Yen Yen, for receiving 520 giant oil tankers from a loyal viewer, Mountain Yusu. Congratulations to the host, Yen Yen, for receiving 9,999 roses from a loyal viewer, Mountain Yusu. Su Yiyen. Audience. Do you understand now? Everyone, including Su Yiyen, took a few seconds to react. These 3 words were the admin's reply to the viewer who asked the question. The rows of rewards, along with the golden exclusive special effects, were all showing the words, "I have money." Why can he be the admin? Because he has money, he can do whatever he wants. The stream was instantly filled with cries. Countless viewers turned into lemons and cried bitterly, shedding tears of poverty. The viewer who asked the question felt like he was hit by 100,000 points of critical damage and temporarily shut himself up. Su Yiyen couldn't help but laugh. She had to admit that someone's simple and crude actions saved her a lot of trouble. In between the stewing of the soup, the boiled fish on the side was almost done. The moment the lid was lifted, the spicy and fresh aroma overbearingly filled the noses of the viewers who turned on the smell simulator. Ah, this smell, I'm going to die, how can it be so fragrant? With this smell, I can drink 10 bottles of nutrition drinks in one go. How can I drink nutrition drinks with this smell? Host, hurry up and turn on the taste simulator, I can't wait anymore. The waves of aroma lingered at the tip of the noses, causing many viewers to drool. The calls for Su Yiyen to turn on the taste simulator also became louder than ever. Su Yiyen smiled and finally kept her promise. For the first time, she turned on the taste simulator in the stream. The bullet screen in the stream was silent for a minute or two, then it was greeted with a blowout explosion. It's really spicy, but it's so addictive. I want more after eating it, I can't stop. The taste of the fish is too fresh. I spent a lot of money before. I ordered steamed fish at a high-class restaurant, but it's not as tender and not as fresh as this one. I love this taste. It was indeed a little stimulating at first, but the more I eat, the more delicious it is. I feel like I can eat several bowls of white rice with just this taste alone. In the past, I always thought that the nutrient solution was pretty good. Even if I occasionally bled a little and went to a high-end restaurant to eat some natural vegetables, I didn't think that it was that amazing. However, after eating the streamer's fish today, he suddenly understood why some people would not hesitate to go bankrupt in order to satisfy their desire for good food. Chapter 70. When Su Yiyen saw the last comment, she couldn't help but laugh. The chili she planted this time was semi-dehydrated, so it was obvious how spicy it was. Some people couldn't get used to putting it in the spicy boiled fish as seasoning, let alone eating it directly. Fortunately, this was just a taste simulation on the internet. If they dared to eat it in reality, they would probably die from the spiciness. The taste of chili itself is quite stimulating. It's best not to eat it dry, or you may have some symptoms of stress. Su Yiyen's kind reminder didn't hurt the audience's admiration for the spicy boiled fish. Many people had already tried to act cute and begged Su Yiyen to be merciful and change her mind to draw a prize. Su Yiyen was unmoved. She only smiled faintly and said, "When chili can be sold publicly in the future, everyone can cook fish at home and eat it. It's best to use grass carp to cook spicy boiled fish because grass carp is delicious and tough. Its meat won't break when it's boiled. The weather is getting colder now. Eating spicy things can promote blood circulation, so the body and limbs won't be too cold. It also has the effect of strengthening the immune system. Grass carp is rich in nutrients. Eating more can also have the effect of beautifying the face and warming the stomach. However, eating a little is enough. Don't eat too much. It's easy to get heaty if you eat too much chili." However, these words didn't comfort the audience in the live broadcast room who were crying piteously for food. "Is that the fish I'm missing? I lack chili and the host's hands. When can we buy chili? I feel like we have to wait for a long time. Whoa, I feel like the host is fooling us. I can't refuse this recommendation." The audience in the live broadcast room was crying in their hearts because they couldn't eat the real hot spicy boiled fish. However, they couldn't resist the temptation of the delicious food and wolfed it down. Su Yiyen ignored the complaints on the pop-up screen and prepared the other two dishes she chose, Kung Pao chicken and spicy crayfish. The ingredients of these two dishes were relatively simple. The main ingredients were chicken breast and crayfish, and the more complicated seasonings and scattered side dishes. The chicken breast was okay, but many viewers were afraid of the crayfish's appearance. "These pincers are so big. I'm a little scared just looking at them." "I know. This is a crayfish. Its pincers are especially big, and it's very painful when it pinches people. There are some near the beach near our house. The high-end restaurants nearby also sell this. I bought it once. It's a little fishy and earthy, and it doesn't taste good either. I keep eating sand." "Sand?" Su Yiyen pondered for a moment and roughly figured out the reason. Most of the places where lobsters live have silt, so most of the lobsters still have silt in their bodies when they're caught. Before cooking them, you need to put them in clear water for 1 to 2 days. Let them spit out all the silt, then there won't be the smell of dirt. Other than that, prawns usually have a line, which is the black line on the back of the prawn. Su Yiyan purposely picked out the shrimp's intestine and showed it to the audience. This is the shrimp's excretory system, and it contains the shrimp's unfinished excretory waste. If you don't remove it, it won't be clean, and it will affect the taste. Just like the audience member said, it will taste like sand, and it will taste a little bitter. The viewers in the live stream, especially the one who had just said that there were crayfish near his house, were suddenly enlightened. Chapter 71. With the help of his knife skills, Su Yiyan quickly removed the shrimp lines from the large pot of crayfish and started to stir-fry a series of ingredients. Compared to the initial discomfort, the audience had gradually adapted to the taste of the chili. Many people had begun to drool even before the main ingredients were put in. Not to mention the audience who had turned on the taste simulation system. They were tasting the spicy boiled fish next to them while staring at the crayfish in Su Yiyan's hands. It could be said that they were looking at the pot while eating from the bowl. The crayfish and kung pao chicken were not difficult to make. After the ingredients were stir-fried, the main ingredients were put in and stir-fried. Then, a series of spices were added and water was added to the sauce. As long as the fire was controlled well, there would be no dark cuisine. Although many people were afraid of the crayfish's slightly ferocious pincers at the beginning, when it came out of the pot, most people could not control their hands and mouths at all. This crayfish doesn't taste like dirt at all. It's sweet and chewy. It's super appetizing when paired with the spicy taste. Yes, yes, yes. There's a big difference between having shrimp lines and not having shrimp lines. The one I ate before was bitter and rough. Plus, it didn't have this spicy taste. It was edible, but compared to this one, it's like heaven and earth. What a waste of God's gift. Woof. It's great to eat, but the more I eat, the hungrier I get. My stomach is growling a few times. I seriously suspect that the streamer is doing this on purpose. Sob, sob, sob. I regret it. This is not a benefit at all. It was fine before. I could just take a whiff, and I could still bear it. Now that I've eaten the streamer's dishes, how can I eat the tasteless nutrient solution? Although the taste simulation system in the live broadcast room could simulate the taste of food for people to taste, it was still virtual and not real. It could not give them a sense of fullness. As long as they thought about having to go back and drink the nutrient solution after tasting such delicious food, many people felt that they had nothing left to live for. Hu Chenwan looked at the wailing and howling on the screen, but his mood was unprecedentedly happy. Howl all you want. No matter how much you howl, these dishes were made for him to eat. No one can snatch them. If it weren't for the fact that he didn't want to expose himself, he wouldn't even let Su Yiyan use the taste simulation system. Hu Chenwan was feeling smug and gloomy at the same time. Suddenly, she saw a few words on the screen, and her face sank. Shameless trashy streamer. She even plagiarized our Lord Fooping for marketing purposes. Shameless B***TCH, do you really think that our Lord Fooping has no fans? The plagiarist was killed on the spot. Our great Fooping has just been invited to participate in a variety show, and someone can't wait to take advantage of the situation and plagiarize to get to the top. This trashy streamer is really shameless. At this time, Su Yiyan had just put the last dish into the pot. When he looked up, he saw these messages. His face sank, but he had a faint understanding that it was finally here. She flipped the vegetables in the pot as if nothing had happened and chuckled, "Are you trying to scam me?" These words angered the fans who came to find fault, and the bullet screen that popped out instantly became denser. Scamming. Our Lord Fooping is the #1 sister in the gourmet area. Why would she need to scam you, a little transparent person with only a few 100,000 fans? That's right. The streamer plagiarized shamelessly and wants to make a false accusation. Click. The sound of food being put into the pot could be heard, followed by a burst of fragrance that made people who smelled it want to swallow their saliva. Chapter 72. The people who were looking for trouble were stunned for a few seconds because of the sudden fragrance of the dishes, but when they heard this, they quickly reacted. Of course, the plagiarist won't admit to plagiarism. Who in the gourmet area doesn't know the name of our Fu Ping data? Recently, some swindlers have appeared in the gourmet area. Anyone who watches their live broadcast knows that they are imitating Fu Ping. Unfortunately, a fake is a fake, and it can't become real. Fu Ping Dada's last live broadcast before participating in the variety show was fish. The host made a big pot of fish today and dares to say that she didn't plagiarize. She's really shameless. These people came aggressively and confidently. At first, many people in the live broadcast room were shocked and unsure whether Su Yiyan had plagiarized or not. Now that they saw the rhetoric of these people, they couldn't help but laugh. Su Yiyan also laughed. She knew that there were creatures in this world called brainless fans. They went around arguing with people in the name of being good people. On the surface, they were defending themselves, but in reality, they were inviting criticism. The people in front of her were obviously this kind of people. Oh, so as long as it's cooking, whether it's fish or prawns, it's plagiarism. It turns out that the fish and prawns were all discovered by your dada. Only she can cook them, and no one else can touch them. The gourmet area is also booked by your dada. As long as someone does this kind of live broadcast, it's because they watched your dada's live broadcast and copied her. If you have the guts, go and ask those seafood fishermen and the chefs of those high-end restaurants. See if they agree or not. Generally, most hosts would choose to turn a blind eye to such scams and let their fans help fight back to prevent people with ulterior motives from taking things out of context and causing more trouble. Su Yiyan's direct rebuttal was a bit unexpected. The old viewers in the live broadcast room were the first to react. 666, the host is awesome. You should confront these disgusting KY fans directly like this. Yes, yes, yes. I've been sick of this Fu Ping for a long time. Although the things in her live broadcast room are really good, the way she speaks and her brainless fans are really not likable. Almost all the hosts in the gourmet area can see their KY fans in the live broadcast room and under the recording screen. They really treat the gourmet area as their home. Disgusting. I can testify to this. I saw them scolding a new host until she cried. They went up to greet other people's families. Their mouths are really smelly. Su Yiyan did not expect Wen Jingping to have so many die-hard fans. She had not even figured out how to deal with this so-called female lead, and these die-hard fans of hers had already ruined her passers-by's popularity. Those KYs who had failed to find fault with Su Yiyan were furious when they realized what had happened. Just as they were about to scold Su Yiyan, they realized that their accounts had been banned. Naturally, the angry crowd couldn't just let it go like that. Together with the keyboard warriors, they registered alternate accounts and came back to kill. Why did you block my account, guilty? She got banned just because she asked a few questions. Does the streamer want to make the live stream her own words? Of Fu. Oh, you can be blocked. Do you need a reason? Hua Chenhuan's face was dark. She blocked all the other accounts again and asked Yu Zian to speed up the backstage identity verification. Chapter 73. The group of people who were dragged into the dark room again were furious. They wanted to register a new account, but they realized that there was an identity verification system in the background. They had to enter their identity information to complete the registration. Many of them filled in their information with a dark face, but they were told that they had been banned from the website. Not only were their previous accounts banned, but they also had no chance to register a new account. They were so angry that they almost smashed their phones. After another batch of accounts were banned, the live stream room returned to its original peaceful state. At this time, Su Yiyen's last dish was finally done. The last dish is done, and the people are almost here. The soup will take about half an hour to finish. Because of the rush, I won't show you the final product. Today's live stream will end here. I might be busy tomorrow, so I might have to take a day off. When the specific time for the next live stream is confirmed, I will announce it in advance. If you are interested, please pay attention. As soon as Su Yiyen finished speaking, a bunch of gift effects appeared in the live stream room. At first, it was only the admin who was sending gifts, but later, there were a few more people who took turns to send gifts. The scene was spectacular. Su Yiyen took a closer look and realized that most of the people who were sending gifts were the lucky viewers that she had picked before. After turning off the live stream, Su Yiyen breathed a sigh of relief. She walked out of the kitchen and asked a few servants to bring the big pot of boiled fish and 2 other dishes to the table. As soon as she turned around, she saw her parents and brother looking at her expectantly. Su Yiyen, you guys. Didn't you leave? Ahem. Father Su's wife pinched his arm. He said with a cold face, I heard from Auntie Li that Hu Chenhuan is coming to our house today. Su Yiyen. It was so hard for her to live under the watchful eyes of a group of people. Yes, he happened to be free today, so he wanted to come and see me. So that's why you woke up early in the morning and cooked a table full of dishes. Su Yuxuan's face was cold, but his heart was as sour as a lemon on a lemon tree. He didn't know when his sister learned to cook, but all she wanted to do was to wash her hands and make soup for that dog of a man. His heart ached. Qing Shuqin wasn't as hostile to Hu Chenhuan as the father and son, but she was very interested in the delicious dishes that her daughter made. She immediately said, This is the first time he's coming to our house. We don't feel safe leaving you alone at home. Today, we won't go anywhere. We'll stay here with you. That's right. This is the first time that the future son-in-law comes to visit, and there's no one at home to back you up. If people think that you don't have a backer, what if they bully you in the future? Su Yiyen almost cried. What was there to be worried about with him here? To bully me. Su Yiyen had already predicted the impending Shiraba 2.0. Her face was full of despair. Therefore, when Hu Chenhuan returned to the Su family with Dun Dun, who was eager to return home, he was met with the terrifying scene of everyone in the Su family sitting around a table full of fragrant dishes, waiting solemnly for his arrival. The moment he stepped through the door, the 2 men from the Su family stared at him with their cold gazes. Chapter 74. The duel between the 3 men began with their eyes. The moment their eyes met, sparks flew everywhere. It was frightening to watch. In the end, Su Yiyen was the first to break the silence. He stood up and walked over. You're here. We're just in time for dinner. I'll take you there. Su Yiyen reached out his hand and squeezed Hu Chenhuan's shoulder. The warmth and softness that did not belong to him left as soon as he touched her. However, Hu Chenhuan's heart strangely settled down. Su Yiyen pushed Hu Chenhuan to sit next to him. At the same time, he asked Aunt Li to take Dun Dun to the side to feed him dog food. Dun Dun was very unhappy. Before it left, it cried out a few times to Su Yiyen, complaining that its master brought its dog daddy to eat a big meal, but let it eat cold dog food. It really broke its heart. Sure enough, with a dog daddy, it lost its master's favor. Su Yiyen skillfully adjusted Hu Chenhuan's wheelchair to a position corresponding to the dining table. Unintentionally, he drew another wave of hatred for her. Qing Shuqin saw this small detail. His eyes flashed, but he said nothing in the end. Everyone's here. Let's start eating. The dishes I made today are a little heavy. Try them and see if you like them. If you like them, I'll make them again next time. These words were clearly said to everyone present. However, Hua Chenhuan subconsciously felt that Su Yiyan said it to him. Hua Chenhuan's hands, which were hanging by his side, tightened slightly. Then, a hand reached over from the side, gently but forcefully separated his fingers, and interlocked their fingers. The three people on the other side of the table did not notice the small movement between the two. When they heard Su Yiyan's words, they looked at each other and picked up their chopsticks to grab a piece of fish. It was not that Aunt Li had never made fish for them before. It was just that most of the time, she made steamed fish. Although the taste was not bad, they always felt that something was missing. The moment the fish made by Su Yiyan entered their mouths, it gave them a very different taste stimulation. Qing Shuqin usually had a mild taste. When he took the first bite, he frowned, but he was not in a hurry to spit it out. He chewed carefully, and after eating one piece, he took a break for a while before picking up the second piece. Mr. Su and his son were not as reserved as she was. They seemed to be the type who loved spicy food since their eyes lit up after just one bite. After that, without needing Su Yiyan's instructions, they automatically reached their chopsticks towards the fish bowl. Su Yiyan was a little relieved when he saw that they didn't reject the taste of chili. He also saw that Hua Chenhuan didn't want to fight with them for the chopsticks, so he took the initiative to pick up a few pieces of fried fish steaks and fresh fish belly and put them in front of him. Eat more fish to nourish yourself. Hua Chenhuan's eyes warmed as she replied in a low voice, yes. When Mr. Su and Su Yuxuan saw this scene, they started to feel jealous again. Humph. Humph. Su Yiyan lowered his head and held back his laughter. He ignored the two men's childish dissatisfaction and picked up a crayfish to peel. Hua Chenhuan had just finished eating a piece of fish when he looked up and met Su Yiyan's sparkling eyes. I specially asked someone to bring this crayfish over yesterday. I put it in the water for a whole day and spat out all the mud in its stomach. Now, it doesn't taste like mud at all. It's very sweet. You. Cough, 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 cough. Before Su Yiyan finished speaking, a trio of coughs sounded in his ears. He turned his head in confusion and saw that the three people opposite him were staring at the crayfish in his hand with incomparable passion. Chapter 75. Su Yiyan's hand that was holding the prawn moved to the left, and their eyes followed suit. When she moved to the right, their eyes also followed suit. Su Yiyan's eyes were full of smiles. She tentatively put the prawn meat into Hua Chenhuan's bowl. Sure enough, they couldn't sit still anymore. Cough, cough, cough. Qing Shuqin cleared her throat and said meaningfully, I've been out late with my sisters for the past few days. My mouth always feels bitter, and I don't have an appetite for anything. With her leading the conversation, Su Yuxuan hurriedly chimed in, me too. Recently, I've had to go out to socialize when discussing business deals. I drank a little too much and my mouth tastes bitter. It's so dry that I feel uncomfortable. Although Mr. Su didn't join them in the commotion, his eyes fixed on the prawn meat was actually a crazy hint. Su Yiyan glanced at the three people who were crying piteously for food, then turned to look at Hua Chenhuan. In the end, she put the first piece of prawn meat she peeled into her mother's bowl. Mom, eat this prawn. It's beautifying and tastes good. Qing Shuqin was overjoyed. She looked around like a victorious peacock. After showing off her position in the family, she picked up the red and white prawn meat and stuffed it into her mouth. With just one bite, she was captivated by the chewy texture. Delicious. Eat more if it's delicious. Su Yiyen picked up another prawn and peeled it. In an instant, everyone's eyes were focused on her hands. Qing Shuqin won first place and was content to watch from the sidelines. Mr. Su, on the other hand, was a little nervous. He was afraid that he would fall behind the two juniors. It was natural for him to be one step behind his wife. However, if his position in his daughter's heart was lower than the two juniors, then it was really, fortunately, Su Yiyen didn't disappoint him. The second prawn successfully landed in Mr. Su's bowl. Mr. Su breathed a sigh of relief. He happily picked up the prawn that his precious daughter had peeled for him and put it into his mouth. If there weren't outsiders present, he would have taken out his phone to take a 360-degree picture of the prawn and posted it on his WeChat account. He would have made his old classmates jealous and hate him. Seeing that his parents each had a prawn, Su Yuxuan, on the other hand, was calm. He didn't believe that in his sister's heart, he was inferior to a wild man that she had only known for a few days. However, many things in this world was what he feared most. After Su Yiyen peeled the third prawn, she didn't even look at her big brother. And naturally, she reached for Hua Chenhuan's bowl. Cough, cough, cough. Cough, cough, cough. Su Yuxuan's expression changed slightly. He coughed like a severely ill patient, but he still could not stop the third prawn from landing in Hua Chenhuan's bowl. Mises, mise. My. At this moment, Su Yiyen turned to look at him in confusion. She asked worriedly, "Brother, do you have a cold? Why are you coughing so badly all of a sudden?" Su Yuxuan made a last-ditch effort and hinted weakly, "I want to eat prawns too. It's best not to eat seafood when you have a cold." Su Yuxuan instantly became like a cat whose tail had been stepped on. She exploded on the spot. "No, I want to eat prawns. Now, immediately, right now." Su Yiyen's face was cold. "Oh, then peel it yourself. How old are you? If you want to eat prawns, then eat them. Why are you so fierce? You're crazy." Su Yuxuan received a look of disdain from his sister. A mouthful of old blood was stuck in his throat. Chapter 76. Elder brother Su, who had failed in his attempt to beg for food and had been despised instead, silently teared up and was self-sufficient. Su Yiyen glanced at him and retracted her gaze to see if Hua Chenhuan liked to eat crayfish. Before she could turn her head, a piece of plump and fragrant crayfish meat was delivered to her mouth. Su Yiyen turned her head in confusion and met Hua Chenhuan's gentle and smiling eyes. After being stunned for a moment, Su Yiyen quickly reacted. Her eyebrows curved as she opened her mouth and ate the crayfish meat. Her soft lips brushed against his slender fingers. Hua Chenhuan's eyes darkened, and there was a hint of forbearance and restraint in the depths of his eyes. This intimate feeding scene naturally fell into the eyes of the three people sitting opposite them. They felt like they had lost somewhere. After Su Yiyen finished eating the crayfish meat that Hua Chenhuan handed her, she suddenly seemed to have thought of something and chuckled. "What's wrong?" "Nothing, I just suddenly thought of a saying that I read before." "Saying?" "Crayfish are very troublesome to eat, so there was a saying on the internet before, to determine whether a man is worth entrusting your life to, you have to see if he's willing to peel crayfish for you, and how long he's willing to peel crayfish for you." Hua Chenhuan's eyes flickered. She silently picked up the crayfish on the plate and began peeling it. After about 10 seconds, another piece of crayfish meat appeared in Su Yiyen's bowl. "For a lifetime." "What?" "As long as you like it, it's for a lifetime." Su Yiyen quickly realized that Hua Chenhuan's words meant that as long as she liked it, he could peel crayfish for her for a lifetime. Her face instantly turned red, and she silently lowered her head to pick up the crayfish meat in her bowl. The crayfish meat that had perfectly absorbed the soup should have been spicy, but Su Yiyen felt that it was strangely sweet in her mouth. Mr. Su and elder brother Su, who were silently sitting opposite them. This dog of a man only knows how to sweet-talk my daughter, sister. Beast, scum. Before the father and son could react, Qing Shuqin took the initiative and pushed his bowl in front of Father Su. Mr. Su, who had been a slave to his wife for 20 to 30 years, immediately understood what his wife meant. He immediately forgot about his anger and sat beside his wife, diligently peeling the prawns for her. She even had the thought of competing with Hu Chenhuan. She peeled the prawns neatly. In just a moment, she had stacked half a bowl of prawns for Qing Shuqin. Brother Su watched as his father changed sides at the last minute. Apart from him, all the single dogs at the table were in pairs, sweetly peeling prawns for each other. F***ck, everyone is bullying me for being single. Don't single dogs have human rights? Just like that, a nice lunch had somehow turned into a battlefield of public displays of affection. As the only single dog present, Su Yuxuan had no choice but to tuck his tail between his legs to survive. He was also forced to eat a stomach full of dog food. The resentment on his head was almost tangible. Although Su Yiyen didn't expect so many people to stay at home to eat, the amount of food she cooked was still sufficient. When the 5 of them were about 70 to 80% full, Su Yiyen got up and rushed into the kitchen to bring out a bowl of cinnamon pork belly soup. Mom, you and Chenhuan should drink more. This soup is specially made to ward off the cold. After drinking it, your hands and feet won't always feel cold in winter. Hu Chenhuan's legs were inconvenient, so her limbs were always a little cold. Especially in winter, it was normal for her hands and feet to feel cold. Qing Shuqin was the same. In winter, her hands and feet couldn't warm up. Su Yiyen had originally planned to leave an extra bowl for her. As for her father and brother, they were strong and healthy, so it wasn't good to eat too much. Forget it. Chapter 77. Regardless of the effect of the soup, drinking such a steaming bowl of soup after the meal warmed up their bodies from the inside out. It was very refreshing. In the end, there was not much left in the large bowl of soup, and almost all of it went into their stomachs. They went from being 70 or 80% full to 80 or 90% full. Once a person ate too much, they would feel drowsy and sleepy. The Su family was in a similar situation now. However, at the thought that someone was still here, the sleepiness in Mr. Su and Brother Su's heads suddenly flew away. They looked at Hu Chenhuan with more scrutiny. Come with me to the study, Mr. Su looked Hu Chenhuan up and down and said before leaving with Su Yuxuan. Hu Chenhuan's hand that was holding the wheelchair tightened, but she did not say anything. She obediently followed behind the two of them and left. Su Yiyen was a little anxious when he saw this. He got up and was about to follow, but Qing Shuqin stopped him. Mom, Dad and brother, what's wrong with them? They just want to talk to him about something. It's not like they're going to swallow him alive. Look at how nervous you are. Just wait here with me. You're not allowed to go anywhere. Su Yiyen was not comforted at all. He thought that they would not swallow him alive, but they would do something worse than that. At that moment, the father and son, who were already determined to do something terrible, walked into the study and went straight to the point. Regarding the list of betrothal gifts that family Hu recently handed over, there are some things that I need to confirm with you in person. I also have some questions that I want to ask you in person. Go ahead. Mr. Su stared into Hu Chenhuan's eyes and said seriously, Are you sure that you want to give all those things under your name to Yan Yan as betrothal gifts? If it were not for the fact that he suddenly wanted to become in-laws with Hu Chenhuan, Mr. Su would not have known that Hu Chenhuan had so many businesses under her name. She did not lose out to the current head of family Hu Qihan. She might even have more businesses than Hu Qihan. Yes. Hua Qinhuan said without thinking, in my opinion, nothing in this world can compare to her. What's mine is hers. Yan Yan said you've liked her for a long time. Is that true? Hua Qinhuan's expression changed slightly, and his eyes couldn't help but reveal some surprise and confusion. However, he quickly calmed down and said truthfully, it's true. I've liked her for a long time, longer than any of you think. Mr. Su's eyes turned cold. If that's the case, why didn't you say so earlier? You didn't show up when Yan Yan and Hua Xiaofeng were engaged. Because I'm afraid that I won't be able to control myself. Su Yuxuan raised an eyebrow. Can't control yourself? More than anyone else, I want to have her, own her, and even monopolize her. The faces of the father and son of the Su family darkened. They looked at Hua Qinhuan with eyes as sharp as arrows, wishing that they could poke 17 or 18 holes in his body right now. Hua Qinhuan turned a blind eye to their hostility. In his opinion, the biggest problem between him and Su Yiyan at that time was never anyone else but himself. But I can't do that, because I can't give her happiness. She should have a complete marriage without regrets, a healthy husband, and a lovely child. Then why have you changed your mind now? Chapter 78. Mr. Su was silent for a long time, then he sighed. Actually, I was very opposed to this marriage from the beginning. Hua Qinhuan's eyes darkened, and a trace of hostility flashed across his eyes. Mr. Su seemed to have realized something, and he sneered. It's not just because of your legs, but also because of you. You're too lethargic. He was clearly a young man in his early 20s, but he always gave people a sense of lethargy and coldness, as if he had one foot in the grave. He was like a black panther hibernating in the abyss, ruthless and ruthless. He could rush out at any time, snap your throat, and take you down to hell with him, never to be reincarnated. As a father, even if he knew that such a person was not an ordinary person, he would never want his daughter to be entangled with such a dangerous person. But after seeing the way the two of them interacted with each other, Mr. Su's thoughts unexpectedly changed. Hua Qinhuan might indeed be a dangerous person, but the way he looked at his daughter could not lie. When he looked at other people, there was only coldness and depth in his eyes, like a god overlooking the world from a high position, and he would not feel any sadness or joy for the ants in his eyes. But when such a person faced Su Yiyan, there was a light in his dead eyes. When a high and mighty god was pulled down from his altar and had emotions like an ordinary person, then the person who caused all this must be the most important person to him. I don't believe that there are pure good and bad people in this world. Maybe my first impression of you wasn't good, but after seeing how you interacted with Yan Yan, I'm willing to take a gamble. The premise is that you can fulfill your promise and never let her get hurt. Hua Qinhuan did not say anything nice, and only replied with incomparable sincerity, don't worry. Remember what you said. Hua Qinhuan and the others did not talk for long. After about half an hour, they came out. Su Yiyan immediately went up to them and said nervously, are you okay? Did they make things difficult for you? Or did they say anything bad to you? No matter what they say, don't take it to heart. They're just worried about me. They don't mean anything else. Hua Qinhuan looked at Su Yiyan's anxious expression and the corners of his lips curled up slightly. He took the initiative to hold her hand and said, no, we're just discussing the wedding next month. Really? Really? You have a great family. Hua Qinhuan was actually not disgusted by the Su family's targeting of her. The more they targeted her, the more it showed that they cared about Su Yiyan. This was a lovely family, and it was because of this lovely family that there was Su Yiyan who was worthy of love. Su Yiyan smiled when she heard Hua Qinhuan's words. She leaned close to Hua Qinhuan's ear and said cheerfully, they will also be your family in the future. Hua Qinhuan's heart trembled violently. Yes. After confirming that Hu Chenhuan was not in a difficult position, Su Yiyan was slightly relieved. Thinking of the original plan, she asked carefully, "My friend is coming back tomorrow. I want to go out and buy her some gifts. Do you want to accompany me?" Su Yiyan was actually very uncertain when she asked this question. She did not know how long Hu Chenhuan had not gone out shopping. At least in all her memories of her previous life, she had never gone out. This was a bold attempt, and at the same time, it was also a kind of test. The owner of Dundon's fiancé. Yes. Chapter 79. Gu Xiaoyang and Yu Zian were shocked when they found out that Hu Chenhuan was going shopping with Su Yiyan. Ever since Hu Chenhuan's leg became like this due to the accident, he had never attended public places such as banquets or shopping malls. He would not go out if he could. If he had not heard about Su Yiyan's incident, he would not have appeared at Hu Qihan's house that day. But now, he had promised Su Yiyan that he would accompany her to the shopping malls where people came and went. Gu Xiaoyang and Yu Zian looked at Su Yiyan as if she was an evil concubine who would bring disaster to the country. Su Yiyan did not care about what they thought. She took Hu Chenhuan straight to the nearest department store. "What do you think I should get her?" "And Hua, she's Dundon's fiancée. She's our future daughter-in-law. We have to buy her a gift or something." Hu Chenhuan was almost amused by her. "That dog is called Hua. If she's our daughter-in-law, won't your friend be our in-law?" Su Yiyan smiled and nodded hurriedly. "You can say that. Is there anything she likes?" "Her. She likes money." "Money?" Hu Chenhuan was a little confused by this elegant and refined answer. Su Yiyan frowned slightly and showed a trace of disgust. Hu Chenhuan noticed this immediately. The smile in her eyes faded a little and she asked with concern, "What's wrong?" Su Yiyan shook her head. "Forget it, I won't ask you. If I ask you to buy something for her, it'll feel like you're helping to pick out a gift for her. I'll be jealous." Yu Zian, who was a few steps behind the two of them, vaguely heard the last sentence. Were all girls so direct these days? When Hu Chenhuan heard Su Yiyan's words, she was stunned as well. Her expression softened as she replied in a low voice, "Okay." In the end, Su Yiyan decided to go to the clothing and accessory store, and then go to the pet store to buy some toys for Dundon and its little friend. In the end, Su Yiyan chose a beige scarf from the new autumn/winter style. Just as she was about to take her things to the counter, she suddenly saw another man's scarf not far away. Hu Chenhuan sat in his wheelchair and looked at the people coming and going in the shopping mall. His eyes were cold and deep, and no one could tell whether he was happy or angry. Suddenly, a warm scarf was wrapped around his neck. Hu Chenhuan was slightly stunned. He raised his head and met Su Yiyan's sparkling eyes. "Do you like it?" Hu Chenhuan touched the soft and warm scarf around his neck. His dead eyes were gradually filled with a warm smile. "I like it. Winter is coming. We have to buy a scarf. Oh, and a hat." Although Yu Zian and Gu Xiaoyang had been following the two of them, they had kept a certain distance from Hu Chenhuan and Su Yiyan to make it easier for them to date. Just like now, when the two of them were picking things in the store, the two of them were guarding outside the store to see if there were any suspicious people among the pedestrians walking around the store. When they turned their heads, they saw the future young madam pushing their young master to the clothing and hat section. She put all kinds of hats on their young master's head as if she was treating a beloved model doll. After trying on about a dozen hats, Su Yiyan's eyes suddenly fell on the green hat in the corner. Hu Chenhuan was speechless. Chapter 80. Su Yiyan seemed to be a little surprised by the two hats. She raised her hand and was about to reach for them. Yu Zian and Gu Xiaoyang's expressions changed drastically. They almost screamed, "Young mistress, stop." As if she had heard their inner cries, Su Yiyan's hand paused before touching the two hats. She silently withdrew her hand. Then, she turned her head and met Hua Qinhuan's gaze. Su Yiyan blinked and joked, "You like this?" Hua Qinhuan, the scapegoat, who loves being cuckolded, was speechless. Outside the shop, Gu Xiaoyang and Yu Zian were even more furious. Which ordinary man would like a cuckolded hat? Su Yiyan looked at Hua Qinhuan's pitiful look. She finally couldn't help but laugh. "Even if you really like this, I won't buy it for you. Give up." Hua Qinhuan was speechless. No, he really didn't like it at all. After trying on so many hats, Su Yiyan really couldn't decide which one to buy. Just then, a voice suddenly came from not far away. "No, this is too expensive. It's almost half a year's salary. I'll go back and buy some needles and thread later. It's warm and practical. It's not that expensive." Su Yiyan subconsciously looked in the direction of the voice. Only then did she realize that a young man and a young woman were standing in the scarf section next to them. The girl looked thin and small. She spoke softly and cautiously, like a little white rabbit that was easily frightened. The man standing next to her was in a suit, looking like a successful man in society. When he heard the girl's words, his face darkened, especially when he realized that there were other people not far away. "It's fine if it's a normal day, but I'm taking you to meet my old classmates tomorrow. Do you want others to think that I'm abusing you by dressing like this? Or do you want my classmates to know that I was blind to have such a rustic girlfriend like you?" The girl's face turned pale and she gripped her bag tightly. From Su Yiyan's angle, she could see the girl's red eyes glistening with tears. Su Yiyan frowned slightly. He looked down on this kind of straight man who yelled and ridiculed his girlfriend for the sake of his own face. However, he was not qualified to meddle in the private affairs of a young couple. He could only look away. What the eye doesn't see, the heart doesn't grieve over. Unexpectedly, she was too lazy to pay attention to this unpleasant episode. However, the man's pride seemed to have been hurt by the fact that there were people watching him. After scolding his girlfriend, he turned his attention to the two people not far away. When he saw the faces of Hua Qinhuan and Su Yu, he was obviously stunned for a moment. Jealousy and envy almost overflowed from his eyes. However, his gaze then landed on Hua Qinhuan's legs. His eyes turned slightly, as if he had understood something. He sneered, full of contempt and mockery. All right. If I tell you to buy it, then buy it." "Why are you talking so much? It's not like we don't have money on hand. Unlike some poor people who should just stay at home and pretend to be rich. Aren't you afraid of being laughed at by others?" The man had seen Su Yiyan trying on so many hats but still unable to decide which one to buy. He thought that she was hesitating because she was worried about money. Chapter 81. Su Yiyan heard this and saw the way he looked at Hua Qinhuan. Her face instantly turned gloomy. She threw the hat on the shelf and shouted, "Waiter!" The waiter in the store had been paying attention to the situation. When he heard Su Yiyan's call, he immediately trotted over and asked with a professional smile, "Miss, is there anything I can help you with? Help me pack up everything in that area and this area, except for the green hat, and send it to the Qingnan family Hua." The waiter's eyes flashed and said obediently, "Okay, I'll get someone to pack it up for you." Also, Su Yiyan stopped the waiter and took out a black card and handed it to him. "Ask this gentleman to leave. In the future, all the stores under the Su family's name don't need to receive him." The waiter's face changed slightly and his attitude towards Su Yiyan became more respectful. "Don't worry, I'll ask someone to ask this gentleman to leave." Security. When the man heard Su Yiyen's words, his face turned green and white, white and green again, as if he had been slapped dozens of times. When he saw the waiter call for security, it was clear that he was serious. His face became more and more ugly. Who are you? Why are you asking me to leave? And you, I'm a customer, a god. Aren't you afraid that I'll sue you for treating me like this? How could Su Yiyen not hear the panic hidden in the man's clamor? She sneered, just because this shopping mall is owned by my family, if you want to sue, then sue. If the legal fees are not enough, I can even support you. The man's face turned pale. He finally realized that he had kicked an iron plate and was speechless for a moment. The security guard quickly came in, followed by 2 intelligent robots to maintain order. If the person being chased out did not cooperate with violent resistance, these robots could use some forceful means to ask the person to leave. Our shop is run by a pauper, we can't afford such a distinguished customer like you. Please leave. Su Yiyen's words could be said to be harsh. The man's face turned black. He pushed away the security guard who wanted to pull him and shouted, "Don't touch me, I'll leave by myself." After yelling, he left in a huff, not even caring about his girlfriend. Only the girl was left standing there awkwardly. She looked at the 2 of them apologetically and hurriedly followed them out. Although Su Yiyen felt pity for this girl, she knew that everyone had their own choices. If she was willing to choose such a man, then no one could help her. After driving away the eyesore, Su Yiyen still felt extremely uncomfortable. Just as she was wondering how to comfort Hu Qinhuan, she met his smiling eyes. Were you standing up for me just now? She had thought that she would be sad, but she was unexpectedly a little happy. For some reason, Su Yiyen suddenly felt a little shy. She snorted coldly and said in an imposing manner, "With me here, no one can bully you." Hu Qinhuan stared at Su Yiyen's slightly raised chin. He only felt that the person in front of him was like a small sun, tirelessly shining around him, burning away all the darkness that could come close to him. He loved this light and unconsciously followed it. Even if he was trapped in it, he had no regrets. Hu Qinhuan took the initiative to reach out and hold Su Yiyen's hand. She smiled faintly and said, "Aren't we going to the pet shop?" "But you..." Su Yiyen was a little hesitant. "With you here, who can bully me?" Chapter 82. Gu Xiaoyang and Yu Zian, who were outside the glass wall, wanted to come in and help the moment the man opened his mouth. However, Hu Qinhuan stopped them with a look. Seeing this scene, the 2 of them had mixed feelings. They were happy that someone was willing to protect Hu Qinhuan, but they couldn't help but worry. The pet shop was only a few steps away from the shop where Su Yiyen and the others were. They arrived in a short while. Su Yiyen was quite familiar with this place. She quickly found the cat and dog section and focused on picking things with Hu Qinhuan. Halfway through, a kitten in the arms of a customer suddenly threw a tantrum. It howled and knocked over the cup in its owner's hand. Everything happened so suddenly that a small part of the water splashed onto Su Yiyen's skirt. The owner of the kitten was shocked when she saw that her cat had caused trouble. She quickly apologized to Su Yiyen while controlling the kitten. I'm sorry. My cat is too naughty. I'm really sorry." Su Yiyen glanced at the spot where the water had splashed. Since it wasn't a big problem, she didn't argue with the cat owner. Hu Qinhuan glanced at the man coldly. She frowned and suggested, "Let's go back to the shop and change your clothes. No need to go through so much trouble. I'll go to the bathroom to tidy up." Do you need me to go with you?" Su Yiyen thought of something and blushed. She shook her head and said, "No, the bathroom is quite close. I'll be back in a while." Hu Qinhuan didn't force her. She nodded and agreed. However, after Su Yiyan left, she unexpectedly saw a familiar figure. Hua Qinhuan's long and narrow eyes narrowed dangerously. She gave Yu Zian, who was not far away, a wink. Yu Zian instantly understood and quickly followed her. Su Yiyan went into the bathroom to tidy up her clothes. She was ready to go back. She didn't expect to meet an old acquaintance just as she walked out of the bathroom. "Why are you here?" Hua Xiaofeng raised his eyebrows and sneered, "You think you can swagger here with my uncle to buy things? Can't I?" "Oh." Su Yiyan replied coldly. She walked past him and wanted to leave, but Hua Xiaofeng grabbed her wrist. "I know you took the initiative to propose a marriage alliance with my uncle in order to take revenge on me for breaking off the engagement and for falling in love with another woman. You don't love him at all. You're just using him, right?" Su Yiyan almost punched him when he heard that. He sneered and said, "If I don't love him, who do I love? Is that you?" Hua Xiaofeng was stunned for a moment. He said proudly, "I know how you feel, and I know you're angry and sad because I broke off the engagement. But feelings can't be forced. Although we can't be husband and wife, we can still be friends. You shouldn't let your emotions affect your decisions. Using such an extreme method to hurt yourself and attract my attention is very irrational." Hua Xiaofeng didn't think it was enough. He even added, "If it wasn't for Jinping, I might have followed my family's arrangement and been together with you. But God let me meet her. This means that we're not fated to be together. This is God's arrangement. No matter if it's you or me, we can't go against it. No matter how you struggle, it's useless." Chapter 83. Su Yiyan, who was inexplicably stuffed with a groundless love that turned into hatred, and was even dragged by the scumbag to tell her about his deep affection for a certain someone, felt goosebumps all over her body. She was so angry that she laughed and decided not to leave. She shook off Hua Xiaofeng's hand and took 2 steps back. She chuckled and said, "Where did you get the confidence to think that I'm so deeply in love with you that I can't extricate myself from it? I'm even willing to sacrifice my own happiness to attract your attention and beg you to look back at me." Su Yiyan couldn't help but shudder after she finished speaking. Did this man really think that he was a stallion? Any woman who saw him would be infatuated with him and would live or die for him. She wasn't cheap. These days, 4-legged toads weren't easy to find, but 2-legged men were everywhere, okay? Not to mention, there was such an outstanding man who was in love with her. How stupid must she be to fall in love with someone who might not even be found in the trash? You don't have to rush to deny it. I understand everything. Su Yiyan was dumbfounded. She thought to herself, what do you understand? Are all scumbags these days so narcissistic? If you don't have such feelings for me, why would you try so hard to get engaged to me? Why would you be so angry when you found out that I was with Jinping, to the point that you didn't even hesitate to marry my uncle? Su Yiyan furrowed her brows. She wanted to say that she didn't feel wronged at all when she married Hua Qinhuan and that it was the happiest thing in her life. Unfortunately, before she could say it, Hua Xiaofeng interrupted her again. Don't tell me that this was an accident. You clearly had many other choices after the engagement was called off. Why did you insist on marrying my uncle, who is from the same family as me? Su Yiyan. Scumbag, you're too dramatic. I really don't know how to cooperate with you. You dare to say that you don't have any feelings for me. Why wouldn't I dare to say it? Su Yiyan looked at Hua Xiaofeng as if he was looking at an idiot who thought too highly of himself. Unexpectedly, in Hua Xiaofeng's eyes, this glance was seen as a sad expression on her face. He felt more and more certain that his guess was right, and the corners of his mouth couldn't help but curl up crazily. I knew it, I knew it. How could anyone like a cripple like Hua Qinhuan? I heard that the car accident that year not only crippled his legs, but also caused him to lose his ability to reproduce. A man like him who can't stand on his own 2 feet, if you really want to get married, can he satisfy you? Can it make you a real woman? Su Yiyan was a little impatient when he heard Hu Xiaofeng's smug bragging. However, when he heard the latter part of the sentence, his face instantly darkened. His gaze towards Hu Xiaofeng also became murderous. Say that again. What? Hu Xiaofeng was stunned. He curled his lips and said disdainfully, "He's just a cripple." Ouch! Before he could say the word cripple, Hu Xiaofeng was in so much pain that he almost knelt on the ground. His entire face turned red. Where was the complacent look that he had when he said that Su Yiyan still had feelings for him? At the corner of the corridor, Hu Xiaofeng's words had also made Yu Zian restless. He wanted to rush out and beat him up, but his body suddenly stiffened. For some reason, he felt the same as Hu Xiaofeng's, pain in the ass. Chapter 84. Su Yiyan looked at the finger that was about to hit her. Her eyes turned cold as she sneered, "I hate it when people point fingers at me." Without waiting for the other two to react, she grabbed Hu Xiaofeng's wrist and pulled him forward. Then, she threw him over her shoulder, bang. Just by listening to the sound, one could imagine how painful it must be for the person who was being thrown around like a sandbag. Su Yiyan was furious and did not show any mercy. Hu Xiaofeng was not only in pain from the lower half of his body, but also felt like his entire body was about to fall apart. He was paralyzed on the ground and could not get up for a long time. Even so, he still stared at Su Yiyan. His ferocious expression was really frightening. "How dare you? How dare you? For a cripple, you..." Su Yiyan was about to leave, but when she heard what he said, she immediately turned back and gave him another kick without hesitation. "Ah!" The miserable shriek made one's hair stand on end, but it was not enough to arouse Su Yiyan's compassion. She was about to explode from anger. "Cripple your sister. Today, I'll let you have a taste of being a cripple," Su Yiyan said as she kicked Hu Xiaofeng with all her strength. She even chose to step on those painful acupoints. "If a tiger doesn't show its might, you guys really think I'm a sick cat." "What did you just say? Was I the one who tried every possible way to marry you? F***ck, does your whole family have Alzheimer's and intermittent amnesia? Back then, it was your parents who took the initiative to come to my house and beg my grandparents. They took advantage of the fact that your mother and my mother were best friends in university and begged my parents to betroth me to you. How long has it been since then? How did it become me trying every possible way to marry you? You're distorting the truth. Aren't you afraid that the wind will cut your tongue? **tch. Before Hu Xiaofeng could finish cursing, Su Yiyan kicked him again. "As for the annulment of the engagement and the matter between you and that shameless mistress, do you think you're worthy of it? Do you think that I would give up on such a rare treasure and pick up a pair of used shoes instead?" Hu Xiaofeng was in so much pain that his forehead was drenched in cold sweat. When he heard Su Yiyan describe him as a pair of broken shoes, he almost lost his breath and died of anger on the spot. "You really think you're so popular? Why don't you take a look at yourself? Hu Xiaofeng, as a piece of trash, please stay in the trash. Don't come out and pollute the environment, okay? How dare you compare yourself to my Qinhuan when you're such a coward? How dare you talk about him like that? Who asked you to keep your mouth clean? Who asked you to keep talking? Who asked you to keep talking?" The more Su Yiyan spoke, the angrier she got. She kicked Hu Xiaofeng a few more times. Yu Zian, who was observing from the side, was speechless. He thought that she was a daughter flower that only knew how to cry. He didn't expect her to be a man-eating flower. With that thought in mind, Yuzian sneaked a peek at Hu Xiaofeng, who was lying on the ground like a dead dog and was barely breathing. At the same time, he couldn't help but feel a chill down his spine. The future young madam's fighting spirit was a little too strong. When he thought about how this young madam might get into an argument with their young master after marrying into the family, that scene, Yuzian was so scared by his own imagination that he shuddered. However, with how much young master doted on young madam, they probably wouldn't get into an argument. Ahahaha. Chapter 85. After punching Hu Xiaofeng to her heart's content, Su Yiyan felt a little better after venting some of her grievances from 2 lifetimes. She let out a sigh of relief, tidied up her slightly messy clothes, and instantly changed from a domineering flower back to a cute little sweetheart. However, this little sweetheart's words were still full of hostility and threat. Remember to respectfully call me Enchanting uncle and aunt when you see us in the future. Otherwise, I'll cripple you every time I see you. After saying this, Su Yiyan did not even look at Hu Xiaofeng, and hurriedly left in her high heels. Not long after she left, Yuzian sneaked out from around the corner. Looking down at Hu Xiaofeng, who was not sure if he was alive or dead, he vented his anger and cursed, "Serves you right." After Su Yiyan left, she did not stay outside for long, and quickly returned to the pet shop. The moment she saw Hu Chenhuan, Su Yiyan's originally restless heart finally calmed down completely, and the smile on her face became more genuine. "Did you wait long?" "My stomach suddenly felt a little uncomfortable, so I stayed a little longer." "You don't have to apologize. Are you still feeling uncomfortable?" Su Yiyan was stunned for a moment before she realized that Hu Chenhuan was asking her if she still felt uncomfortable with her stomach. She did not know why, but her eyes suddenly felt a little sore. God was really unfair. Why should such a good person be looked down upon and slandered by others because of the harm she had suffered in the past? Thinking of this, Su Yiyan felt a little regretful. She should have kicked that scum a few more times. If Yuzian, who was busy cleaning up the mess, knew what Su Yiyan was thinking at that moment, he would probably sigh and say, "Young mistress, if you kicked him a few more times, he would really die." "It's okay, I don't feel uncomfortable anymore." "Did you see anything else just now?" "No, I'm not very familiar with these things." "Then forget it, these things are enough for them to play with. Let's go back. Dun Dun must be waiting for us at home." Hu Chenhuan was not in a hurry to answer. Instead, she glanced at Yuzian, who had just returned with Su Yiyan. After receiving an affirmative nod from the other party, he replied with a faint smile, "All right." Su Yiyan and Su Yiyan got rid of the eyesore and happily went home with the small gifts they had chosen. On the other hand, Wen Jingping, who was finally able to get some fresh air, followed Hu Xiaofeng to the shopping mall to pick out clothes, was not so lucky. She waited in the clothing store for a long time, but Hu Xiaofeng didn't come back. She called him several times, but no one answered. In the end, he could only change out of the clothes he had chosen under the waiter's meaningful gaze and leave in a sorry state. After coming out of the clothing store, Wen Jingping's entire face was dark. She suppressed her anger and took out her phone to call Hu Xiaofeng again. Of course, the call didn't go through again. Wen Jingping was so angry that her teeth itched. She directly blocked Hu Xiaofeng's phone number. She opened her contact list and wanted to call a friend over to pick her up. However, a private message suddenly popped up in the back end of her live stream room. The content of the private message was not unfamiliar to her. The general idea was that someone in the gourmet area had plagiarized her live stream and had gained the support of many people. At first, Wen Jingping didn't pay much attention to it. She felt that no matter what, these people couldn't be a threat to her. They were just imitating others. Until she saw the holographic image of the spicy boiled fish at the end of the private message, Wen Jingping's pupils shrank. The hand holding the phone trembled. Chapter 86. Su Yiyan didn't know that Wen Jingping had noticed her with just a holographic projection and was afraid of her. Sure enough, Dun Dun liked the small gifts that the two of them brought back. As soon as they were handed to it, it pounced on it and hugged it tightly. Su Yiyan took the opportunity to stuff the dog and the gifts into Hu Chenhuan's hands and let him bring them home. Poor Dun Dun was given away again after returning home for a few hours. Before it left, it almost cried, threw a tantrum, and acted cute. It clung tightly to its owner's sleeves and refused to let go. Helpless, its owner had a stepfather. She had long changed from a biological mother to a stepmother. No matter how shamelessly it threw a tantrum, it couldn't beat a soft call from its stepfather. Chi-Chi's flight is tomorrow morning. I have to pick her up. Let's have lunch together. Okay. Hu Chenhuan didn't really like to meet strangers unless it was unavoidable for business. But he liked it when Su Yiyan took the initiative to introduce her friends to him. This made him feel that Su Yiyan was trying to integrate him into her life and make him a part of her life. Late that night, the old family Hu residence was dark. It was quiet downstairs. There wasn't anyone around. Only in a corner of the courtyard, a person was waving a shovel miserably and digging a hole in despair. Suddenly, a series of footsteps came from behind. The figure waving the shovel froze. Like a rusty robot, he turned his head and looked over. After confirming that there was nothing behind him, he heaved a sigh of relief. Who knew that in the next second, a hand would be placed on his shoulder? The late-night gardener was speechless. Ow, ow, ow. Don't come over, don't come over. If you come over again, I'll hit you. I'll really hit you. What are you shouting for in the middle of the night? Aren't you afraid of waking young master up? The familiar scolding made Yu Zian's head go blank. He opened his eyes tentatively. After seeing the two people not far away, he asked in a daze, Xiaoyang? Yanbai. Gu Xiaoyang rolled his eyes at him. Who else could it be? Yu Zian's legs turned to jelly. He said angrily, you two are too much. You came up behind me without saying anything and even patted my shoulder. Don't you know that you can scare me to death? TSK, so the two of us came over to show concern for you, but we were wrong. Yanbai, let's go. Don't bother with this ingrate. Are you here to show concern for me? You're obviously here to laugh at me. Pfft. It would have been better if Yu Zian had not mentioned it. Gu Xiaoyang could not help but laugh out loud. Ha 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 ha, you too. You went out with young madam and got yourself such a job. I'm dying of laughter. Yu Zian saw him laughing and became even angrier. He raised the shovel and was about to shovel him. What are you laughing at? Not only are you not helping me, you're even laughing at me. What kind of brother are you? All right. Both of you, enough is enough. Zhua Yanbai stood between the two of them and held Yu Zian's hand. He said with a headache, what's going on? Didn't you accompany young master to Miss Su's house today? What happened? Why did Zian start farming as soon as he came back? When Yu Zian heard the word farmer, he felt like he had nothing left to live for. Gu Xiaoyang couldn't help but laugh out loud again. It's like this. Miss Su's best friend is coming back tomorrow. After lunch, the two of them invited each other to go shopping and buy gifts for her. Chapter 87. Gu Xiaoyang could totally understand Zhua Yanbai's shock. Yes, you didn't hear wrongly. Young master went shopping with Miss Su today. Miss Su even bought a lot of hats and scarves for young master, and young master put them all in his wardrobe. Zhua Yanbai's face was full of surprise, but when he thought about Miss Su, he felt that it was only natural. In this world, only Miss Su could make their young master change for her willingly. If you want to go shopping, then go shopping. Young master won't punish you for no reason. Did you do something to make young master angry? Yu Xian looked embarrassed. Gu Xiaoyang coughed softly and said in disgust, speaking of which, the culprit is actually Hua Xiaofeng. What does this have to do with Hua Xiaofeng? Yu Xian's face darkened. He told Gu Xiaofeng about how Hua Xiaofeng bribed a customer in the pet shop to pour water on Su Yiyan, forcing Su Yiyan to go to the bathroom to clean up. Then, he followed Su Yiyan all the way to the bathroom door and said a lot of disgusting things to her. He told her everything in detail about how Hua Xiaofeng angered their future young madam and how she was killed. He even emphasized the words that Hua Xiaofeng used to attack their young master. You don't know, but Miss Su listened to Hua Xiaofeng at first. Although she was very impatient, she didn't want to talk to him. But when he mentioned young master, Miss Su's face suddenly changed. She looked at Hua Xiaofeng as if he wanted to eat someone. Then Hua Xiaofeng started to have bad luck. You didn't see how he looked like. He was almost pressed to the ground and beaten by Miss Su. Just thinking about it makes me happy. Yu Xian couldn't help but laugh at the end. In fact, when Hu Qinhuan asked him to be in charge of Su Yiyan's public relations, he didn't dare to have any objections on the surface, but he was actually not very happy about it. However, after this incident, Yu Xian had completely changed his view of Su Yiyan. He was no longer dissatisfied with Hu Qinhuan's previous arrangements. From now on, he had to work hard and cling on to the thigh of the future young madam so that he could reach the peak of his life. Hearing his words, Zhou Yanbai thought of something else. Miss Su seemed to be especially thin and small when she was young. The Su family was worried that she would be bullied by her peers because of her thin and weak body, so they hired many masters to teach her martial arts. It's normal that Hua Xiaofeng couldn't control her. This time, he really kicked an iron plate. Serves you right. You weren't there at the time, but I heard it clearly. It was his parents who begged Miss Su's parents to betroth Miss Su to him. In the end, they accused Miss Su of still having feelings for him and pretended to persuade Miss Su not to be with young master. Did they really think that no one knew what their family was up to? The Su family took the initiative to marry our young master. Hua Qihan probably can't even sleep well now, right? He even said that he was destined to be with that mistress, and that he could be friends with Miss Su even if they couldn't be husband and wife. I almost vomited when I heard it, let alone Miss Su. She's probably disgusted. Gu Xiaoyang sneered and mocked, like father, like son. Don't their family have done enough disgusting things? Chapter 88. Yu Xian rubbed his nose guiltily and laughed dryly. Aren't I just curious? Don't you dare say that you're not curious about Miss Su's feelings towards Hua Xiaofeng at all. What do you think of our young master? The two of them choked, unable to refute. They were indeed curious about Su Yiyan's feelings towards Hu Qinhuan. When Hua Xiaofeng broke off the engagement, she suddenly announced that she wanted to marry Hu Qinhuan. It was quite thought-provoking. Not to mention Hua Xiaofeng's wishful thinking, they also had doubts in their hearts before this. They were worried that Su Yiyan's decision was just a spur-of-the-moment decision, a means for her to take revenge on the family Hua and Hua Xiaofeng. This was also the main reason why Yu Xian didn't jump out to help at the start, but instead sat on the sidelines and watched for a long time. He wanted to see how Su Yiyan would react to Hua Xiaofeng, and how she would react to his words. Most importantly, when the other party mentioned Hu Qinhuan, would she choose to silently agree or take the initiative to defend him? The results of his probing were delightful, but he also paid a painful price for it. Moreover, didn't Miss Su come out unscathed in the end? Don't think that he didn't notice that when he told her what Su Yiyan said to Hua Xiaofeng to defend him, his eyes were filled with adoration. After all, he had been by Hu Qinhuan's side for more than 10 years. How could Yu Zian not see that his young master was secretly happy under his expressionless face? In other words, in the end, the two young lovers were happy, but the one who was hurt was him, a single dog. It was really a tragedy. If Miss Su wasn't fine, do you think young master would just punish you as simple as farming? He would have sent you to the border and let you fend for yourself. Yu Zian was just saying it, he didn't really have much of an opinion about the punishment. What he cared more about was, oh, of all the things Miss Su likes, why does she have to like blue roses? This is great. Young master wants me to plant blue roses in this courtyard, and I have to plant them all. How long do I have to be busy for? Alright, be content. It's good enough that young master didn't ask you to plant blue roses in the manor. Yu Zian shuddered when he imagined the consequences. Even the small garden in front of him seemed much more pleasing to the eye. Zhuo Yanbai saw the look of fear on his face and tried to hold back her laughter. By the way, what happened to Hu Xiaofeng and the person who poured water on Miss Su in the pet shop? What else can we do? To dare to casually take a stranger's money and help him lure a girl out, he's either stupid or greedy by nature. I'm the best at dealing with such people. Since Gu Xiaoyang had said so much, the two of them could roughly guess what happened to that person, so they didn't ask any more questions. As for Hu Xiaofeng, Yu Zian chuckled. At that time, I saw it clearly. Young madam kicked him 3 or 4 times. She didn't hold back at all. It's best to kick that bastard until he can no longer have sex. Let's see if he dares to talk about young master's disability in the future. Every time I see him, I'll beat him up. Humph. Gu Xiaoyang and Zhuo Yanbai froze for a moment and shuddered unconsciously. They couldn't blame Yu Zian for completely changing his attitude towards Miss Su this time. Chapter 89. They secretly hoped that Hu Xiaofeng would be disabled. However, Hu Xiaofeng was the male protagonist of the original novel. Even though he had been kicked repeatedly by Su Yiyan, some of his functions were fortunately preserved. However, it would be difficult to use them in the future, and it would be difficult for him to use them in the next 1 or 2 years. Even so, Hu Xiaofeng, who woke up and learned of the diagnosis, was so angry that he almost fainted on the spot. Lying in bed, he yelled and screamed and overturned the table beside the bed. Pieces of melon and fruit were scattered all over the floor. It was a mess. B*TCH, B*TCH. I'm going to kill her, kill her. Mrs. Hua's eyes were slightly red, and her heart ached. Xiaofeng, Xiaofeng, calm down. Don't hurt yourself. I'm already in this state. How can I calm down? Dad, you have to help me. That B*TCH has gone too far. She wants to end our family's bloodline. It would have been better if Hu Xiaofeng hadn't said anything. After hearing what he said, Hu Qihan's face darkened. He picked up a glass that had survived and threw it directly at Hu Xiaofeng. Hu Xiaofeng couldn't move and couldn't dodge at all. He could only face this terrible situation with a pale face. Mrs. Hu screamed and almost fainted on the spot. Fortunately, Hu Qihan didn't really want to kill his only son. The glass finally fell on the edge of the bed. With a crash, it fell to the ground and broke into pieces. There was a moment of dead silence in the ward. Mrs. Hua's legs went weak and she almost fell to the ground. Qihan, what are you doing? Xiaofeng is your son, and he was just beaten up like this. How can you? Why can't I? I can't wait to stuff this guy back into your belly and pretend that I don't have a son. How can you say such a thing? Why can't I say it? Ask your good son what he has done. Mrs. Hu choked. Even if he did something wrong, that little B*TCH shouldn't have hit him like that. It's considered light that they beat her up like this. Hua Qihan pulled up a holographic video with a dark face and directly showed it to his wife. The two protagonists in the video were very close to each other. It was a complete reenactment of the scene where Hua Xiaofeng blocked Su Yiyan and said a lot of things to her. Mrs. Hua's face turned red when she heard Su Yiyan's questions. Wasn't that right? Back then, it was because they had taken a fancy to Qing Shiqin's family background and connections that they used the guise of being best friends to matchmake Su Yiyan and Hua Xiaofeng. The Su family thought about it for a while and agreed to the marriage. The Hua family naturally thought that Su Yiyan must be interested in their son to agree to the marriage. Over time, they almost tacitly agreed to this matter and selectively forgot that they were the ones who proposed the marriage in the first place. Mrs. Hua felt her face hurt when someone pointed it out so bluntly. Watching the video again, Hua Qihan was even angrier. Do you know who sent this video? Who is it? It's Hua Chenhuan's subordinate. I've lived for more than 40 years, and I've never been so humiliated like today. If it weren't for Hua Xiaofeng's half-dead appearance, he really wanted to kick his troublesome son to death. Chapter 90. Hua Xiaofeng's face turned pale when he saw the video. He said in disbelief, "Uncle. Uncle's people sent this. How could Uncle's people have this video? Then they also know what I said about Uncle. Now you know what fear is. Why didn't you think before you said it?" Hua Qihan was really angry with his stupid son. They were indeed laughing at Hua Chenhuan's disability in their hearts. Jokes aside, no one dared to say it out loud. This stupid thing mocked and ridiculed in front of someone's fiancé. Who else would they hit if not you? What angered him the most was that even he, an outsider, could see that when Hua Xiaofeng first said those words, Su Yiyan's expression was very impatient and full of sarcasm and disdain. However, this stupid thing seemed to be blind and expressed his magnanimity one-sidedly. In the end, he even involved the topic of Hua Chenhuan. What a pig's brain. If Hua Chenhuan released this video, not only would Hua Xiaofeng become a laughing stock, but he, as his father, would also become a laughing stock. Stay in the hospital for treatment for the next few days. After you're discharged, stay at home and rest well. Don't worry about the company's affairs. Hua Xiaofeng and his mother's faces changed drastically. Mrs. Hua couldn't help but scream, "Qihan, you can't do this. Xiaofeng just joined the company not long ago. What will the others think of him? What will the others say when he returns to the company in the future? Help him think of a way, think of a way. Think of a way. I can't even protect myself. How can I protect such a stupid thing? Do you think our family is not dying fast enough? They planned it. They must have planned it. This is a conspiracy, Dad. This must be Hua Chenhuan's conspiracy. They don't want me to join the company and inherit the Hua Corporation. I was set up by them. So what if it's a conspiracy? Why did you jump into such an obvious trap? Where's your brain? Did you lose your brain from talking about a girlfriend?" After scolding him, Hua Qihan seemed to have thought of something and said coldly, "What about his girlfriend? Didn't he say that he had gone shopping with her before the accident? Now that Xiaofeng is lying here, where is she?" She. When she heard Hua Qihan mention that woman, Mrs. Hua's face darkened. "I just used Xiaofeng's phone to call her a few times, but she didn't answer. It seems that she blocked me. You've just been admitted to the hospital and they've already blacklisted you. This is the woman you chose." With that, Hua Qihan left with a cold face, leaving Mrs. Hua and Hua Xiaofeng at a loss. After a long while, Mrs. Hua seemed to have finally found her voice. Heartbroken, she said, "Xiaofeng, what's wrong with you? Why do you want a wild girl who doesn't care about you instead of a rich girl? Mom, why are you, Me too. Did I say something wrong? If you hadn't been so willful, the situation wouldn't be like this. Mom, you're too naive. It's obvious that the cripple deliberately set me up. Even if I go to her, they will definitely come to me. Chapter 91. If it weren't for his actions, Su Yiyen wouldn't even have met him, let alone set him up. However, Mrs. Hua, who was used to listening to her son's every word, did not suspect anything. She even resented Su Yiyen and Qing Shuqin because of this. Since they had already broken off the engagement, why did they still cause trouble for her son and help Hu Chenhuan, who was their enemy? Hu Xiaofeng and Mrs. Hua believed that this was a trap that was trying their best to drive him out of the Hua Corporation. However, the truth was that Hu Chenhuan was also watching the video that Yu Zian had taken. It was the full version of the video that had not been edited. He replayed the clip of Su Yiyen beating Hu Xiaofeng over and over again. Su Yiyen was clearly indifferent when he was talking about himself, but when Yu Zian talked about his body's flaws, he suddenly exploded and wanted to kill him on the spot. Could it be that in Su Yiyen's heart, he had become the reverse scale that no one could easily touch? This realization made Hu Chenhuan excited. It was clearly a picture of two people, but he could only see one person. That person was like a huge ball of light that attracted his attention at any time and place, making it impossible for him to look away. Dun Dun, who was playing with a ball of yarn in its kennel, suddenly heard its master's voice. Its little ears immediately perked up. It immediately dropped the ball of yarn and rushed out like a small cannonball, wanting to hug its master's leg. The result was predictable. This little meatball slid forward like a wild goose landing on the sand. It took a long time for it to react to what had happened. Fortunately, this little guy's adaptability was not bad. Although it did not understand why it couldn't pounce on its master, it quickly recovered and ran to the bottom of the image to circle around its master. When Dun Dun realized that its master might have neglected it because he was fighting with someone else, its soft fur stood on end. It roared at Hu Xiaofeng in the video, and even wanted to pounce on him and bite him. Naturally, he fell to the ground again and slid forward for a distance. Pfft. When Hu Chenhuan saw this scene, she was finally amused by this little idiot's acting. Dun Dun. Do I not care about my reputation? In order to prevent the little fellow from flying into a rage out of humiliation and ignoring her like it did 2 days ago, Hu Chenhuan took the initiative to move over and pick it up. She whispered, "You also think that she's amazing, right?" The little fellow's ears perked up again. After a while, it raised its head proudly, with a proud look that said, "Since you praised my master, I won't lower myself to your level." Hu Chenhuan smiled slightly and reached out to rub the little fellow's fluffy head. "Tomorrow, I'll take you to see your Hua Hua." The little fellow's head suddenly rose up, and its 2 paws proactively rested on Hu Chenhuan's arm. Its black grape-like round eyes stared at Hu Chenhuan, shining with excitement and joy, as if it was asking, "Really? Is that true?" Hu Chenhuan, whose treatment had suddenly increased by several times, was startled. She laughed and said, "This happy look is very similar to your master. People say that pets follow their masters. It seems that it's not unreasonable." Dun Dun didn't understand what he said, and tilted its head in confusion. "Be good tonight. Tomorrow, I'll take you to see your Hua Hua." Chapter 92. In the spacious and bright reception hall, a tall and slim figure slowly walked over from afar. The person was wearing a beige vest paired with casual denim pants. She looked warm and fashionable. She was low-key, but at the same time, she had a cold aura that made people not dare to approach her easily. The most eye-catching thing was that she was holding a soft brown corgi in her arms. This little corgi was like a little princess sitting on a golden throne. It sat in its master's arms with a clear conscience. Its chin was slightly raised, and it patrolled its territory with a particularly cold attitude. Xiaoqi, over here. Su Yiyan saw the familiar figure of the master and pet from afar and quickly waved to greet them. Ling Xiaoqi heard her voice and quickly took off her sunglasses. The coldness on her face was immediately melted by a warm smile. Have you been waiting for a long time? Why are you here so early? I thought I would have to wait for a while. I can't wait to see you and Hua Hua. As soon as Su Yiyan approached, she couldn't control herself and hugged her best friend who had done a lot for her in her previous life but didn't have a good ending in the end. Ling Xiaoqi was stunned by her hug. She blinked in confusion and scolded with a smile, "Why are you suddenly so intimate? All right, hurry up and get up. Don't press on Hua Hua." Su Yiyan hugged her for a while before reluctantly letting go. She turned her attention to the little corgi in her arms. "Hey, Hua Hua, do you still recognize Auntie Yayan? Come, let me hug you." Hua Hua tilted its head and looked at Su Yiyan for a while. It gave Su Yiyan face and stretched out its hand. Su Yiyan was overjoyed. She carefully took Hua Hua out of Ling Xiaoqi's arms, pinched its soft little paw, and said happily, "Hua Hua is still as cute and well-behaved as before, unlike the one in my house who only knows how to run around all day and occasionally tear down the house like a husky. It's really worrisome." When Hua Hua heard Su Yiyan's words, she immediately lifted her chin. Clearly, she was very pleased with Su Yiyan's praise. Ling Xiaoqi shook her head helplessly and looked around. "Right, where's Dun Dun? Why didn't she come with you?" "At my fiancé's place." "Where's your fiancé?" Ling Xiaoqi was shocked. Su Yiyan valued Dun Dun as much as she valued Hua Hua. This fiancé that she had never met could make Su Yiyan keep Dun Dun by his side. This was definitely true love. "Speaking of which, what's going on between you and your current fiancé? I heard that you and that Hu Xiaofeng have already broken up. It's a long story. You and Hua Hua rushed back early in the morning, so you must be hungry. We've already booked a private room at a high-end restaurant nearby. Let's go there and eat while we talk." Ling Xiaoqi thought for a moment and did not refuse. The restaurant that Hu Chenhuan booked was not far away. They arrived in a few minutes. As soon as they walked through the door of the restaurant, Dun Dun, who had been eagerly waiting in the private room, seemed to have sensed something. He suddenly jumped down from Hu Chenhuan's lap and rushed out happily. When Su Yiyan heard the sound, she knew that her dog had come. She looked helpless and was prepared to be pounced on. Unexpectedly, the dog did not even look at her. He went around her and accurately hugged Ling Xiaoqi's thigh. He looked eagerly at Hua Hua in her arms and called out a few times to please her. Chapter 93. This is Dun Dun. Ling Xiaoqi was stunned for a moment before she recognized the dog that was hugging her thigh the moment they met. It was Su Yiyan's Zai Zai that she had mentioned not long ago. Dun Dun has become so strong in just a few months. When Dun Dun heard the praise of its future mother-in-law, it barked even more happily, vowing to attract the attention of its future wife. Unfortunately, Hua Hua, who was nestled in its owner's arms, only glanced at it coldly and disdainfully when it heard its owner praising another dog. Then, it looked away unhappily and ignored it. Dun Dun didn't mind. It was still looking at its owner with eager eyes, looking very much like a bootlicker. The corner of Su Yiyan's mouth twitched. Finally, she couldn't hold back anymore. She went forward and picked up her heartless dog son. She coughed lightly and said, "Let's talk inside. Let's talk inside." "Oh whoa." Dun Dun barked sadly. Obviously, it wasn't very happy to be picked up. Su Yiyen was so angry that she slapped its chubby little butt a few times. Once it saw the little beauty, it couldn't move. This little ingrate. Fortunately, her fiancé's gentle call quickly pulled Su Yiyen out of the negative energy that filled her stomach. Su Yiyen threw away her unfilial dog Sun and returned to Hu Chenhuan's side. Dun Dun, who had been abandoned, was speechless. Gu Xiaoyang, who had suddenly been entrusted to his care, was speechless. Let me introduce you. This is my fiancé, Hu Chenhuan. Chenhuan, this is the friend I told you about before, Ling Xiaoqi. Hu Chenhuan shook Su Yiyen's hand and nodded politely at Ling Xiaoqi. Hello, Miss Ling, hello. Ling Xiaoqi looked at Hu Chenhuan with surprise and curiosity. When she was overseas, she had heard from Su Yiyen that her fiancé was Hu Xiaofeng's uncle. She had estimated his age to be in his early 30s. But now that they had met him, they realized that he was in his early 30s. If he were to say that he was the same age as Su Yiyen, they might even believe it. Ling Xiaoqi had met Hu Xiaofeng once before, but she didn't have a good impression of him. Now that he saw Hu Chenhuan, he couldn't help but compare him to Hu Xiaofeng. With this comparison, she suddenly understood why Su Yiyen wanted to change her fiancé. Not to mention his appearance and temperament, just by looking at the way the person in front of her faced Su Yiyen, she could tell that he loved her very much and cared about her very much. As long as she was there, he would not see anyone else in his eyes. Just this point alone made him 100 times better than that arrogant Hu Xiaofeng. The only regrettable thing was, Ling Xiaoqi looked at Hu Chenhuan's seat with pity. Hu Chenhuan saw Ling Xiaoqi sizing him up, but he didn't feel offended. Over the years, many people had looked at him with malice. This kind of pity was already considered very kind. Su Yiyen saw that the two of them didn't dislike each other, so she was slightly relieved. She smiled faintly and said, "Take a seat first. Have you ordered?" "I ordered some. You can decide the rest." Su Yiyen nodded and handed the menu to Ling Xiaoqi. He booked the private room today, and he's also the one who invited the guests. Feel free to order whatever you want. You don't have to be polite with him. Hu Chenhuan smiled helplessly, but more than that, he was indulging her. Ling Xiaoqi's impression of Hu Chenhuan improved. She was only Su Yiyen's friend, but Hu Chenhuan was willing to make such thoughtful arrangements to receive her. It was obvious that he loved her because he loved her. Chapter 94. Since Su Yiyen had said so, Ling Xiaoqi didn't stand on ceremony and ordered a few of her favorite dishes. After ordering, Ling Xiaoqi put Hua down for the time being. Not far away, Dundun's eyes lit up when he saw Hua leave Ling Xiaoqi's arms. He kicked his little legs and was about to pounce in the direction of Hua. Gu Xiaoyang almost couldn't catch him. He had to look at Su Yiyen for help. Su Yiyen's mouth twitched slightly. She gave up and said, "Put it down." The two little guys were so little the last time they met. They probably don't remember each other. Put them together and get to know each other again. Su Yiyen felt guilty when she said that. She didn't know if Hua still remembered Dun Dun, but Dun Dun, this little idiot, must have always remembered this little fiancé. As soon as Gu Xiaoyang put it down, Dun Dun immediately went to Hua's side and rubbed his head. In the end, he even used his chubby little butt to bump Hua. Fortunately, both of them were puppies. Otherwise, Dun Dun's behavior would have been seen as a hooligan. However, his behavior was not much different from a hooligan. Although Hua didn't have much of a reaction, she didn't pay attention to him from beginning to end. Her face was cold and impatient, as if saying, "Don't touch me." Dun Dun saw that Hua didn't pay attention to him for a long time, so he finally made a big move. He kicked forward hard and wanted to pounce on Hua Hua. Hua Hua was instantly irritated. She screamed and bent her body into an arch shape. Then, she pounced on Dun Dun and attacked with both hands. In a moment, Dun Dun was rewarded with countless 9 white bone claws. The brown dog's fur was scattered all over the place. Soon, it was all over the ground. Dun Dun was also stunned by the beating. Before he could resist, he was stepped on by his wife and couldn't turn over. Su Yiyen and the others were caught off guard and witnessed a dog version of domestic violence. This big battle, or rather, this one-sided beating, ended with Dun Dun lying on the ground in a daze, not knowing what to do. Hua Hua's right front leg was pressed on its dog face, and its chin was raised high, as if it was a tyrant punching a bully and kicking a hoodlum. The battle ended with Dun Dun Su Yiyen, Ling Xiaoqi, the onlookers. Ling Xiaoqi was the first to react. She waved at her dog and said, "Ahem. Hua Hua, get off Dun Dun and come here." Although Hua Hua was still enjoying the thrill of stepping on Dun Dun, it obediently returned to Ling Xiaoqi when it heard its owner's call. Su Yiyen breathed a sigh of relief when she saw this. She reached out and poked Dun Dun, who was still lying on the ground like a corpse, as if she expected better from him. "Look at you, being beaten by your own wife. Losing the first battle has already determined your position in the family." Sorry, Hua Hua has been spoiled by me. She's usually not so fierce." Ling Xiaoqi and Su Yiyen had a good relationship. If only the two of them were present today, they would definitely treat this as a small fight between dogs. They might even get together and talk about it. But there were other people in the house, and according to what Su Yiyen said, Dun Dun was now under Hua Chenhuan's care. Ling Xiaoqi couldn't help but feel a little embarrassed when this happened. Chapter 95. Dun Dun barked when it heard its master's words. It wasn't that it couldn't beat its wife. It loved its wife and didn't dare to fight with it because it was afraid of hurting her. "Master, it's fine if you don't comfort me, but you're pouring cold water on me." Dun Dun felt really wronged. Although Hua Chenhuan could understand Dun Dun's feelings, he, who always believed that his wife came first, could only agree with Su Yiyen unconditionally. Well, it's Dun Dun's problem. It has nothing to do with Hua Hua. Dun Dun. It couldn't have a stepfather and stepmother anymore. It wanted to run away from home and go home with Hua Hua. Gu Xiaoyang stood on the side and watched the show with great interest. He nodded in agreement when he heard their words. Wasn't that right? If it couldn't even beat a little bitch, how could it find a wife in the future? It could only blame itself for being too weak. How could it be blamed on a little bitch? Gu Xiaoyang suddenly froze when he thought of this. He stared at the pink puppy under Su Yiyen's hand and said in disbelief, "This dog is a male." Gu Xiaoyang's scream, which was so loud that it almost changed his voice, successfully attracted the attention of everyone present. Su Yiyen's hand that was stroking Dun Dun suddenly paused. She turned to look at him in confusion. "Don't you know?" Gu Xiaoyang's mouth twitched slightly. He thought to himself, what would I know? Since the dog had lived in the family Hua's old house, it had been treated like an emperor. Except for buying things, everything was done by the young master. They couldn't even get close to it or touch it. How could they know if it was a male or female? Not to mention, it was dressed in such a flashy manner. Gu Xiaoyang was just about to complain when his young master's gaze locked on him. The words that were about to come out of his mouth were stuck in his throat, and his whole face turned red. Ling Xiaoqi saw his embarrassment and hurriedly tried to smooth things over. Actually, you can't blame him for misunderstanding. When I first saw Dun Dun, I also thought it was. Our Hua Hua even treated it like a sister. Hua Hua, who was nestled in Ling Xiaoqi's arms, suddenly cried out when she heard her master's words. She looked at Dun Dun with murderous eyes. Su Yiyen scratched his face guiltily, feeling a little distressed. Hua Qinhuan narrowed her eyes and asked in a low voice, "What's wrong?" Dun Dun. "Actually, it's nothing much. Dun Dun was just a few days old when I brought him home. He was so small, weak, and pitiful. My mom thought it was something new, so she helped me with its basic necessities. She even dug out some old clothes with the auntie at home to make small clothes for Dun Dun. In the end, Dun Dun didn't wear any other clothes, but insisted on wearing this kind of pink with lace." Gu Xiaoyang and the others understood at once. It turned out that this guy was a proper cross-dressing dog. If this happened to other people, my mom might complain a little. But on Dun Dun, my mom only thought it was cute, so she let it dress like this. Hua Hua was adopted by Xiaoqi half a month after that. Considering that the two guys were the same kind, she often took them out to play together. The two little guys became familiar with each other. Ling Xiaoqi sighed when she heard this and interrupted, "At that time, I saw it dressed like that and took it for a girl." Hua Hua also did the same. "I thought they were sisters, but I didn't expect." Everyone in the room looked at Hua Hua with sympathy. This was really the real-life version of, "I treat you as a sister, but you want to f***ck me." Chapter 96. Gu Xiaoyang looked at Hua Hua as if he was looking at an innocent woman who had been molested by a bully, and Dun Dun was that bully. Dun Dun, the cross-dressing bully, bully Dun Dun, woof woof woof, woo. Dun Dun rubbed against Ling Xiaoqi and reached out his paw to touch Hua Hua. As expected, he received another round of beating, and his brown fur fluttered like snowflakes in the air again. What was worse was that this time, under Hua Hua's paw, a tuft of fur on Dun Dun's head was completely used up, and a small part of it collapsed, revealing his tender skin. To put it bluntly, he was bald. Pfft. Ha 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 ha. Su Yiyen laughed out loud when she saw this scene. Hua Qinhuan held her shoulders to prevent her from laughing too hard and falling off the chair. However, his eyes were also gleaming with schadenfreude, just like Su Yiyen's. Dun Dun listened to its owner's laughter, and its round eyes were full of confusion. Finally, perhaps it felt a little cold on top of its head, so it turned to look at the glass door in the private room and saw the familiar yet strange bald dog. Dun Dun tilted its head in confusion, and the bald dog tilted its head as well. Dun Dun stretched out his paw, and the bald dog stretched out its paw as well. After a few times, Dun Dun finally realized that something was wrong. Wait, this dog was him. He was bald. Dun Dun looked as if he had been struck by lightning, and he staggered back a few steps in shock. Finally, he sat down on the table, and with a gloomy expression on his face, he shut himself up. Su Yiyen looked at her family's dramatic dog, and the smile that she had managed to stabilize almost collapsed again. Fortunately, the dishes they had ordered before were served one after another, and she was successfully rescued from her dog's laughable stupidity. The restaurant that Hua Qinhuan had chosen was a relatively famous high-end restaurant, and the people who could dine here were either rich or respectable. Therefore, the cost of this meal was naturally not low. However, after eating Su Yiyen's personally cooked Sichuan poached fish, crayfish, and other dishes, Hua Qinhuan was a little repulsed by these dishes that used to be edible. She barely touched her chopsticks during the meal. Although Su Yiyen was talking to Ling Xiaoqi, part of her attention was still on Hua Qinhuan. Seeing this, she couldn't help but ask, "Hua Qinhuan, why are you eating so little? Do you have no appetite, or the dishes here are not to your taste?" Hua Qinhuan did not hide the truth and said honestly, "It's not as good as yours." Su Yiyen was slightly stunned. She remembered that Hua Qinhuan had a strong taste. Other than her, there were no strong seasonings like chili on the market, so the dishes she made were naturally not as good. Then I'll cook for you another day when I'm free. Do you want the ones you've eaten before or something else? There are actually many spicy dishes that you can choose from. Anything is fine. As long as it's made by you, I'll love it. The two of them whispered as if there was no one else around, thinking that no one could hear them except for each other. Little did they know that when they whispered to each other, pink bubbles kept popping up around them, making it difficult for people to ignore them. Gu Xiaoyang covered his eyes with hidden bitterness, looking as if he had been blinded. Chapter 97. While you were abroad, I learned a thing or two from Aunt Li. If you want to eat it, I'll make some for you to try when I'm free. Ling Xiaoqi's expression stiffened slightly, and she said rudely, "Are you sure you want me to try it and not test for poison?" It was no wonder that Ling Xiaoqi had such an idea. Everyone knew how precious a chef, especially a good chef, was in this era. For a chef, cooking skills and recipes were the foundation of their livelihood. Even their employer could not make them hand over these things. Aunt Li was the cook of the Su family, but Ling Xiaoqi did not believe that she was willing to teach Su Yiyan cooking skills. Su Yiyan knew what she was thinking when she saw her reaction. She snorted and said, "It's up to you whether you want to eat it or not. There are many people who want to eat my dishes now." Ling Xiaoqi laughed but did not ask any more questions. She just treated it as a little fun between the two of them. After lunch, Hu Chenhuan walked in front with Dun Dun, while Su Yiyan accompanied Ling Xiaoqi and followed behind. Ling Xiaoqi glanced at Hu Chenhuan, who got along well with Dun Dun, and suddenly said, "Yiyan, after I came back this time, I feel that you have changed a little." Su Yiyan's heart suddenly thumped. "What changed?" "I can't tell. I just feel that you're a little different from before." Su Yiyan's mood was a little complicated. She was suddenly reborn. Although her temperament did not change drastically, her attitude towards some people was indeed very different from before. She just did not expect that the first person to notice that she was different from before was not her family, nor was it Hu Chenhuan, but her best friend who had been separated from her for several months before this. Was it because onlookers saw more clearly, or had they actually already noticed that she was different, but did not say it out loud like Ling Xiaoqi? "But I can feel that you're still you. You're still the you I'm familiar with." Su Yiyan breathed a sigh of relief and said with a faint smile, "Yes, I've always been the Su Yiyan you're familiar with. This will never change. As for the change you mentioned, you can understand it as a person who is about to enter the hall of marriage has grown up and matured." Ling Xiaoqi accepted this explanation and agreed, "If that's the case, it's not a bad thing that you've changed a little. At the very least, I have a better eye for people now." Su Yiyan was stunned, but he quickly understood what she was referring to. He joked, "Just a little. All right, it's a lot. However, you still haven't told me why you suddenly broke off your engagement with Wu Xiaofeng and got engaged with his uncle so suddenly. Is there something I don't know about?" Su Yiyan thought that it was true. Previously, Ling Xiaoqi was abroad, so she did not tell her too much. She only told her that her engagement with Wu Xiaofeng was broken, and that she was engaged to another man who was in love with her. The wedding date was unchanged, and she had to come back early to be her bridesmaid. Perhaps because of this, Ling Xiaoqi, who originally planned to come back before the wedding, suddenly came back a month early to clarify the matter. "It's not that I suddenly understood and broke off my engagement with him. It's that he took a fancy to a girl, and in front of many people, he made a fuss and asked me to help them. As kind-hearted as I am, I naturally chose to help them when I encountered such a situation." Chapter 98. The volume of Ling Xiaoqi's roar was really not low. The people who were walking in front stopped and looked at them. Hu Chenhuan was fine, but Gu Xiaoyang's face was full of disillusionment. Should he say that she was indeed young Madame's best friend? No matter how cute and harmless she looked, she still had a fierce and wild heart. Once she opened her mouth, all the pretense of gentleness was destroyed. Su Yiyan saw his expression and understood everything. She held back her laughter and tugged at Ling Xiaoqi's arm, reminding her, "Why are you swearing? Can't you see that you're scaring people?" Ling Xiaoqi's mouth twitched slightly. She lowered her voice and said, "Isn't it all because of you? Don't change the subject. What's going on with Wu Xiaofeng? That son of a bitch, how dare he cheat on me? He better not let me meet him, or I'll break his legs. You don't have to trouble yourself with that. I just beat him up 2 days ago. You can say that I've vented my anger." After that, Su Yiyan told her how Wu Xiaofeng forced her family to break off the engagement and how she slapped his family's face and changed the marriage partner to Wu Chenhuan. Also, 2 days ago, Wu Xiaofeng had come to stop her for no reason and said a lot of ridiculous and hateful things. She had beaten him up and sent him to the hospital. She had told her everything. Ling Xiaoqi was furious when she heard that. She wished she could travel back in time to a few days ago and beat Wu Xiaofeng up with Su Yiyan until his mother could not recognize him. He's gone too far, he's gone too far. Doesn't he know whether he has a fiancé or not? Since he has someone he likes, why didn't he break off the engagement with you earlier? He begged you in front of so many people with his so-called true love. He's acting like AB*TCH. Does he think he hasn't lost enough face and wants to drag you down with him? He actually has the face to say that he and that mistress are true love. Even if they don't become husband and wife, they can still be friends. F***CK friends. As expected, shameless people are invincible. Why didn't I come back sooner? If I were here, I would definitely smash his head off. Hua Hua, who was nestled in Ling Xiaoqi's arms, screamed when it heard this. It turned around and buried its head in her arms, afraid that its master would lose control of her emotions and hit its head. Ling Xiaoqi, knowing that Ling Xiaoqi was sensitive to this kind of thing, Su Yiyan quickly comforted her. Okay, I know you're angry. Anyway, you're already back, and I'm now his nominal aunt. What's there to worry about in the future that I won't have a chance to punish that scumbag couple? Ling Xiaoqi's eyes brightened slightly, and her complexion improved a little. Then, she said worriedly, "Then you and Wu Xiaofeng's uncle, I know what you're thinking. Do you think I'm the kind of person who would force myself to settle for a moment of anger?" That's true. Ling Xiaoqi suddenly understood and nodded. Not to mention anything else, just based on the interaction between the two of them, it was obvious that the two of them had feelings for each other. So, was this a lucky hit? Before Ling Xiaoqi could think about it, Dun Dun, who had been walking in front of Wu Chenhuan, suddenly turned back. It barked and circled Ling Xiaoqi. After barking for about half a minute, it suddenly lay on the ground, motionless, as if it had fainted. Ling Xiaoqi was shocked. What's wrong with it? Su Yiyan's eyebrows twitched, and she couldn't bear to look at it. It's a scam. It wants you to bring it home with you. You're tuning into the LoveLore Library YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.